What up, guys? Today we are jumping into hard siege mode with the Inferno pistol on the assault class, and we also have a fencing power sword. So this is a pretty interesting build in the sense that we can get pretty good slams because we do have diligence and we also have precision strikes, but we still have the capability to get incredibly good parrying, and then, not to mention, the Inferno pistol is also going to allow us to get a lot of burst damage as well. Fortitude is honestly pretty nice considering the new contested health perk, and yeah, that's pretty much the strategy. We, as far as a siege mode goes, splash damage is still very good, and the slam itself is still pretty good, even though we have a reduced radius. As long as we hit priority targets and then follow up with the Inferno pistol, the decrease to the radius honestly won't be that big of a deal. This is basically a way to make sure that the Inferno pistol still performs very well in high difficulties for the assault class, is to also take advantage of the gun strike buff that it has. And yeah, as long as we can get some good Inferno pistol gun strikes, that is also going to apply some splash damage. And lucky for us, we were able to pull off a Melta there, and I do believe we have secure stockpile here, which is also, again, more splash damage. Dude, honestly, the Inferno pistol, I'm very glad they allowed the assault class to use this weapon because I think it is a very fun weapon to play around with, especially just considering the melee changes we recently had. I think the fencing power sword right now is also incredibly fast. And ooh, maybe we don't have secure stockpile here. It is possible that we have aligned aim, which would be interesting, but I doubt it. We do have a grenade right here, so I do believe we have secure stockpile. But yeah, dude, this is hard siege mode. This is hard siege mode, and we are going for wave 15. And yes, of course, this is going to be on patch 9. Now, this situation here was a little bit rough considering all of these, all the vine mines right there. And not to mention, we have 2 zone throps. This is the issue with the Inferno pistol on the assault class when you go against any sort of thrope or any sort of flying enemy. Honestly, the disc shamans kind of fly into the direction of the Inferno pistol sometimes. But the zone thropes here are obviously going to be pretty tough to deal with. And boom, big slam. Now, the fencing power sword here, unfortunately, is not one-shotting, but it is basically as close as possible to just, slam and then use the Inferno pistol. Again, we do have a reduced radius here. Now, my aim for precision strike here is 100% to get some burst damage. The one-shots are definitely very important, but this build is definitely not something I would consider meta. This is obviously Inferno pistol, fencing power sword on the assault class, and I just really enjoy the fact that the power swords, especially the fencing power swords, are just so fast now. Like, look at that. Dude, that looks so good. The Inferno pistol itself on the assault class, as I was talking about with the weaknesses, the weaknesses being ranged, too far enemies. Oh yeah, right there, dude. I really don't know what happened there. I think that enraged major just absolutely took me out, and I just decided to use my guardian relic there. I do have a fair amount of points here, but yes, overall in this situation, the Inferno pistol is going to allow us to get some really good stagger as well, and the power sword is so fast. We can definitely basically chain together power sword swings and Inferno pistol shots pretty well. But yeah, obviously the weakness to the Inferno pistol is ranged enemies that are too far away, that sort of thing. I get it. It's definitely not going to be something that is going to be the highest difficulty. Doesn't really play around when it comes to not having a ranged option, and the Inferno pistol is definitely lacking in that aspect. However, the buffs to the Inferno pistol, I think, were definitely good for the weapon overall, and I still think, even though this class kind of suffers against zone thropes with this as a secondary weapon essentially, I still think it was a great idea to put it on the class 100%, especially in siege mode. It's super fun because you basically have a Melta with the assault class, and yeah, right there, that was a pretty bad situation, and luckily I was able to get my health back. I do have the new contested health perk there, so I gotta admit, it does kind of help me out there. Also, I did have iframes there as well, so two sustainability perks coming in handy right in that situation where I was kind of getting cornered by a Biovore and a few enraged Majors. And the Inferno pistol, the recent buffs, I think really puts the weapon in a good spot. I really have a hard time taking it off, to be completely honest. I mean, when it comes to gunstrike damage, I'm definitely, I want some good gunstrike damage, but the capabilities to have a secondary weapon that just can clear out so many enemies is really, really interesting. And these Raveners get a little bit annoying. Dude, sometimes with the Raveners and parrying them, Raveners can definitely catch you off guard a little bit, because sometimes I feel like they can get caught on a corner, which means their windows are going to be a bit delayed. So yeah, the Raveners can be a little bit weird. But yeah, as I said, I also have precision strikes, so I was able to make sure that the slam right there for that Biovore was nice. But unfortunately, I did lose some contested health there because there wasn't any enemies to help me, because I think I got hit by a couple Spore Mines there, unfortunately. But dude, yeah, hard siege mode. We do have a Vanguard. We do have a tactical. And we have to, yeah, I do have healing as well. So, of course, we have Unmatched Zeal. And we have a really good setup here, I think, for the Assault class as well. Like, having a tactical where I can get some grenades and having the Vanguard where I can get some healing, I think is really, really good. I think maybe, I mean, with Heavy nowadays, I know it's kind of up to debate on what his best team perks are. Oh, right here, dude, I am getting absolutely destroyed by the hazards right there. But yeah, when it comes to other classes, I think Unmatched Zeal, Secure Stockpile, I couldn't really think of, and dude, 2 stims also. I couldn't really think of any other team perks I'd rather have in this situation, ultimately. But yeah, so here's the thing. Here's the thing about this situation. I do have a Guardian Relic, so I wasn't too concerned with my Mortal Wound. And I still have enough points to get a Guardian Relic again, because they did make it cheaper, which is interesting as well. So overall, the Siege Mode changes for patch 9 I think are great. We definitely get more options for our resources, considering that things are a little bit cheaper. So you can get Guardsmen, you can also get the Dreadnought. You know, bots I think are perfectly fine where they're at. The Guardian Relic being cheaper is kind of an interesting change as well, considering it's a very strong item. And not to mention, this run specifically, the Guardian Relic definitely helps me out. Now, like I was saying, this build is pretty much off meta, but I still think it's very potent. But it is definitely one of those builds where if you make a mistake, it's definitely not going to age very well. But still, I think it's pretty funny. I think it's pretty funny having the Inferno Pistol, Power Sword combo with the Assault class here, and we don't have, unfortunately, any really good options for the Zoanthropes. I really should have picked up like a crack grenade or something. Dude, but honestly, getting pretty close to them here. You can see the Inferno Pistols doing enough to make them, you know, afraid, I guess. They got to use the shield. But yeah, still splash damage is king in this mode. Dude, Gaunts can definitely start to pile up. Oh, going for the Power Whirl there, which is definitely nice. The Power Sword feels so good. Dude, honestly, the Power Sword feels so good right now with the melee changes. I'm really happy to see the state of the Power Sword. I remember like months ago when we were complaining about it and talking about how it was like one of the worst melee weapons, and now it's a legitimate melee weapon. Like, you can actually use it to get good melee damage. And I really, really like to see that. Now, we did do a guide recently for which weapons were better for like slams against certain factions. And I do believe the Power Sword is a better slamming weapon for Chaos, which obviously we are fighting Tyrannids here. And as far as Chaos goes, I really can't think of a weapon, an enemy like Zoanthropes that would be as annoying, you know, for the Inferno Pistol. Like, you get Disc Shamans, but still, even Disc Shamans are more within range than Zoanthropes. Sorcerers, you know, you can definitely get some nice shots with the Inferno Pistol to break some shields against, you know, the Sorcerers. Ultimately, I'm just trying to make the point that I think the Inferno Pistol might even be better against Chaos. Also, considering what I was mentioning with the slams and what weapons you use with that, I do think the Power Sword as well is also better against Chaos. I think the Chain Sword is a really good slamming weapon against Tyrannids. Hey, maybe we will come back and make sure we can get some stomps with the Chain Sword here. That would be pretty interesting. But yeah, I understand. I understand the fencing variant also isn't going to give you the most slam damage regardless. But still, I was able to make sure that I get the parries that I needed to get ultimately. Yeah, overall, this entire this entire run for hard siege mode was definitely pretty sloppy, but there was still some really good moments here, showing that the Inferno pistol paired with some, at least with enough slams, is definitely a great way to apply a lot of splash damage in bursts. And yeah, I mean, dude, to be completely honest, that's definitely, dude, that is wild. I have no idea what hit me there, but I was looking for a reason to use a stim to clear my mortal wound. But still, ultimately, when it comes to this game, I think the assault class has some really interesting options. I have no idea what is going on. Like, that is wild. I almost lost all my health there. But yeah, again, when it comes to the assault class, I do think it's very interesting that we were able to, get more damage overall, and not to mention, considering the slams, the Inferno pistol option, and not to mention the melee changes, I think the assault class has some definitely good options when it comes to burst DPS and just overall consistent DPS regardless, considering you can also buff the secondary damage of your weapon. So I'm very happy with the state of this class. I remember I was trying to do hard siege mode with the assault class before, and it was kind of a rough one to find a good game for it. And I also had players. Well, I had one player who left because I was playing the class. And yeah, there, unfortunately, I got hit by something before I was able to get iframes from the jumps, I think. And then I had to really just go for a slam to get my contested health back. But no big deal, considering we do have unmatched zeal. We still have a Guardian Relic. We also have a T-posing Ravener, and we have a stim. So we are able to pretty much fend off anything, even T-posing Raveners. But yeah, dude, this was a good run. This was definitely a good run. It was very fun. I'm also very happy we made it to wave 15 with this class, especially considering it was just buffed and people are kind of worried about its effectiveness. And I think in siege mode, this is the most fun spot to have the class. Not to mention making sure you get very timely slams against the Carnifex. It's very helpful. Big parry, big gunstrike. The gunstrike damage for the Inferno pistol does feel pretty good. Dude, yeah, right here was pretty interesting. I really have to make sure I stay on my toes and dodge what I can here because we do have a Ravener, which definitely Raveners in this run specifically were causing me a bit of a pain, to be honest. But see, yeah, right there, that Ravener got caught on the Carnifex, which stopped it from attacking me, which is interesting. But still, this corner is very dangerous, and we were able to get an Inferno pistol shot on that Ravener. So now it's just me and a sniper, unfortunately, and the Carnifex. Now, for this fight specifically, I figured, hey, you know what? I'm going to be dodging a lot anyway. Let's just leave the sniper alive. Let me see if I can last long enough to get another slam. If I can get a perfect dodge, you can get the Inferno pistol going, and you can see the damage capabilities of that. And luckily, I was able to get armor there because I believe my teammates took out the other Carnifex, in which case it refills the armor for your entire team. And not to mention, it also refills contested health, which is pretty interesting if you have a banner with a bulwark. It's always fun to always point that one out. But boom, we were able to dance around that Carnifex. We were able to dance around the sniper. The Inferno pistol, the slams, everything came together very nicely for this build, even though it is off meta, even though I don't recommend using the Inferno pistol on the assault class in absolute 2.0 or hard siege mode or whatever. Ultimately, it is up to you. But I will point out, it is definitely very fun to use. Now, we do have like 30,000 melee damage, 20,000 range damage, something close to that. I really enjoyed the way we pushed here, but I also had two really good teammates. You can see with the range damage there. So I had two really good teammates help out this melee class, also get a whole bunch of burst damage with the Inferno pistol. I put up a lot of DPS, they put up a lot of DPS. That is why hard siege mode is fun.